Weightlifters, you do not have to have lower back pain. The poses that I'm going to show you here can change your life for the better. Lower back pain is caused by a lack of core and hip strength. And if you're doing the right exercises with your lifting, you can help to significantly reduce lower back pain. So here's a follow along routine that you can use to lift with less pain, to lift longer, and improve your overall performance. Give it a shot and you should see immediate results. Your back should feel better just after one routine.
All right, so starting off on your back, we're going to do some stuff to activate the hips, get your core firing a little bit. So this is an exercise that I really like for identifying left to right imbalances in the hips. It's also really good for just getting your core warm. So you're going to bring your left leg straight out in front of you and hover it about a foot off the ground. And then you bring your right knee over your right hip, right knee right on top of your right hip, like that. Good. Just like that. Perfect. And now we're going to just push both hands into your right thigh. And then right thigh pushes back into the hands. So this doesn't look that challenging, but it's actually pretty intense. So we're going to spend just about 30 seconds just doing this. So what you're doing here is you're getting the hip flexors active. You might feel a bit of a cramping sensation. That's totally normal. But this is great as a warm-up. This is also great as just a standalone core exercise. And just the isometric element of it, this is something that we very, very rarely, well, we don't do at all in traditional resistance training, but super helpful. Okay, all right, go ahead and relax. Then we're going to switch sides. So now left knee over the hip, that right leg hovers. Yep, and then hands push into thigh, thigh pushes back into hands. So with your back here, you want to drive your lower back into the ground. So think about trying to round your back and pull your belly button and pull your lower back or push your lower back toward the ground. Whatever visualization helps you there. At the same time, we're pushing hands into thighs. You're feeling that hip flexor really activate, right? You can notice that Austin is shaking here. He's doing it correctly. And again, just about 30 seconds, and that's a good amount of time. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and relax. All right, we're going to come up into a bridge now. So feet go in front of your hips. Make sure that your feet are parallel to one another. So if you look at, I don't know if you can see your feet, but you want the insides of your feet parallel to one another. Yep, so 2 straight lines. Good. All right, turn your toe out just a little bit. That's good. Yep, toes are level. Cool. And then even before we go up here, check in with your glutes, right? Make sure your glutes are firing. Push your feet into the ground. And then instead of thinking about lifting up your hips, I want you to push your hips off the ground with your feet. Good. All right. And so here, we're focusing on the hips. We're not so worried about extending the spine or arching the back. So it helps you to kind of think of like tilting or reaching your tailbone toward your knees. So you're lengthening your lower back. That's going to allow you to get much better extension through the hips. It's going to allow you to get much better glute engagement. So I would have your feet under your knees. So walk your feet back just a little bit. Is that okay, or does that? And if you aren't used to having your legs in this position for a long period of time, right, you might feel some hamstring cramping here. This is a really good, I love this as a warm-up. So pretty much before any of, not that my resistance training workouts are anything compared to Austin's, but before I do any sort of lower body resistance training, I always get some bridges in, get the glutes firing, especially if you spend a lot of time sitting at a desk. If you're driving a lot, those glutes just get inactive really, really easily. So spending about a minute here, really solid idea. And if you want to make this a little more challenging and isolate from left to right, we'll do that after a break. But one way to do that is to do kind of this slow walking march back and forth. So just really carefully lift up one foot just an inch or two off the ground, very slowly set it back down, and then very slowly lift the left foot off the ground. And so we're just doing this little march back and forth. And the challenge here is going to be trying to keep the hips level. So Austin, I want you to look at your hips as you're doing this and try not to let your hips move at all as you move left to right. So you notice that, oh, okay, if I want to keep my hips level here, it's going to take a lot more focus, a lot more concentration. But working these this left to right version of the one leg bridge is really going to help with addressing some of those common instabilities in the hips, especially if you notice maybe your lower back on one side or your knees on one side of the body tend to not feel as strong as the other. So this will be a good indication of why, if you do have that imbalance. And again, just really solid warm up here.
Really quick, if you like this video and you want to keep doing this type of yoga and make it more consistent, I encourage you to try our free 30-day challenge. It's right here on the Manful Yoga YouTube channel, and it's going to help you be more consistent with yoga, be more flexible, be more mobile, and your lifting is going to improve as well.
Cool. All right. And the workout's done, right?
Yeah, it's over.
Exactly. All right, we're gonna do one more thing here. This is called a boat pose, and I really like this because it is going to challenge the hell out of a lot of people. I know that for me, this was like a really challenging exercise when I first started doing yoga, even though I thought I was really strong, but really good potential here to help you build some strength in an area that's traditionally weak. So I'm gonna have you sit up for this one. Yep, and we're going to do our best to sit as upright as possible, and I'll just kind of mirror you to make it easy. So go ahead and scoot down to the bottom of the mat here, and I'll kind of hang out at the top. So we're going to start in this position here with your legs parallel to one another. And hands, I find, helps just along the sides just to support a little bit. And to start, we're just going to kind of lift one leg, lift the other leg. Now, as you're doing this, you're going to notice a lot of hip flexors. We're going to notice a lot of rectus femoris engaging here, and also right transverse abdominis. Right, so this is really good but challenging for someone who doesn't do this on a regular basis. So we're going to start just doing one leg. So I want you to lift your left leg and then lift up your chest. See if you can engage your transverse abdominis here. So you want to feel that deep layer of abdominal muscle working. And you're doing your best to stay as upright as you can, but kind of using the hip flexors to balance that out. So if you're only here, you're only going to feel abs. If you're upright and you're lifting the legs just slightly, you'll feel the hip flexors really working. And then let's do the other side. So hover that right leg. Again, a lot of activation through the hip flexors, right? It might feel kind of crampy. That's normal. Austin's doing a really good job of staying upright through his chest. He's not collapsing in. All right, so that openness through the chest, that activation through the hips. Go ahead and relax. Just take a little break here. You can hold on to your knees. You can do whatever. And now we're going to put that together and do both sides. So I'm going to recommend that you have your hands kind of placed here. We're going to build up in terms of intensity here. So hands here. We're going to lean back a little bit and then lift up. And then using just the strength of your hip flexors to kind of balance that, lift your knees up. Good. So, right. A lot of transverse abdominis, a lot of hip flexors, right? And then so kind of level one is going to be getting your shins parallel to the floor, using the hands to support. Level two, if that feels okay, bringing the arms out in front of you, right? Now some real shaking going on. And then level three is going to be like really getting the legs extended. And this is when we start to collapse. This is when we shake. This is when the back hurts. So, you know, and we just did about 15 seconds there. So choose whatever variation. I'm going to make you do about 30 more seconds, and then I'll walk you through it. So again, so if you feel lower back pain here or tension, we want to focus on really getting the core engaged and utilizing the hip flexors. If it's all lower back, you probably just don't have that awareness in the hips and core yet. That'll come with time. You can also use the modified versions where you're doing one leg or the other, or even the hands on the ground. Good. All right, go ahead and relax. Shaking. Woo! Some good muscle engagement there. All right, so we just did three very basic but, you know, kind of foundational core exercises found in a lot of what we do with Manful Yoga. What's your, what are the observations? How are you feeling? What do we do?
Yeah, it's funny. It's always been funny to me, you know, regardless of how much you can squat or deadlift, how many vulnerabilities are actually in your core and your core strength, and how much you actually start to compensate across those lifts. My wife, who will likely watch this, has always made fun of me because me trying to get myself up into bed, or sit up in bed, my core will shake, but I can also deadlift like 600 pounds. So it's like, that doesn't make any sense. But it's just, you start to identify what those vulnerabilities are across your core, your hip flexor tissue and all that. So yeah, those vulnerabilities are exposed for sure.
Yeah, nice. So how does this work your core in ways that you're not training your core in typical resistance training or, you know, weightlifting workouts?
Yeah, I think the isometric component is certainly one that we don't get enough of. in traditional weightlifting, we typically work in through spinal flexion or maybe slightly through spinal extension, but very rarely, typically with like those crunching variations and stuff like that. But it's very rare that you'd get more isometric based holds outside of like a plank position. But I think a lot of people even then compensate through the plank as well and are kind of in that passive, relaxed position in a plank and not as active. So I think these variations certainly, again, expose those vulnerabilities, but also kind of shore them up at the same time.
Yeah. I think what's really interesting to me is, if you're a weightlifter and you are, especially if you're lifting a lot of weight, really no matter what amount of weight, but if you're definitely lifting a lot of weight, then the importance of having a strong transverse abdominis in particular, or having strong hip flexors to be able to make sure that you're maintaining the integrity of these systems in your body, making sure that the muscles that support your spine are strong enough so that they can get you through lifting, hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And so it always surprises me when people don't train that more often. I don't know. What do you have to say about that?
I think the internal stability component is a big one. I think stability is a big part of weightlifting, and whether that's external, one reason why machines are so great is it provides that stability for you. But also,
then you don't get that.
You don't get that work on having to create that internal stability, right? So I think there's a marriage between the two, and I think there's a lot of nuance on why you would choose one over the other. But at the end of the day, I think it's good to be able to express both and have both within your program. And as you get into those bigger lifts, if you're into weightlifting simply for the reality of, I just want to be healthier, I want to be fitter, and understanding that both are great, but the ability to create that internal stability is huge. But if you're someone who's like, I want to maximize my strength development, I want to be really, really strong, a lot of those lifts that you would want to be really strong in require a ton of internal stability. And so also, even I know at the beginning, it's probably my first 5 years of lifting, probably 10 years of lifting, I didn't actually know how to connect to my transverse abdominis. I didn't know how to connect to the deeper layers of my core. And it took getting trained by some really high level trainers earlier and kind of midway through my bodybuilding career that really exposed those things. And they put me in positions and they're like, how are you this advanced in so many things, but you were so weak here? I'm like, I don't know. It's gotten me this far. But it's been one thing that's really, I've targeted over the years since then. And it's helped me out a ton in terms of staying away from injury and just staying healthy as I lift.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, now that the workout's done, I want you to go into your usual lifting routine. Give it a shot, and you should notice that your lower back is feeling a lot better. You'll also feel less soreness in the days afterwards, which means you can work out more quickly, which is nice. Try to make it into a habit if you can. So save this video, bookmark it, do whatever you need so you can remember to do it before every lifting session. If not every session, maybe more of them, and your back should start to feel better with time. Big shout out to Austin Current for collaborating on this series. His links are in the description below. And if you like this channel and you want more, be sure to like this video and subscribe. We put out a new video every week. If you get shoulder pain when you work out, I've got a video for that too. Go ahead and click above my shoulder and you can see 4 exercises to help with your shoulders while you're lifting.